West Denver. Sleep deprived and heavily caffeinated.
All right, let's do this then.
This is the Jeff and Bill Show.
I don't agree with that.
They don't always agree, but hey, at least they have coffee.
Coffee.
And each other.
I love you, man.
God help us.
I want to bless him. We need all the help we can get.
Now here's Jeff Hunt and Bill Thorpe. The Jeff and Bill Show.
Yes.
On News Talk 710
Yes.
KNUS.
Here we go, 710 KNUS, Thursday morning, the 9th morning of October 2025. 303-696-1971 is the phone number. Our weather, 82. That's beauty. 82 the high. 75 on Friday. Saturday, 78 degrees. Jeff and Billy are off. I get to do today, tomorrow, and Saturday. And we have callers, but I want to go for the Olson report. Ladies and gentlemen, standing by, I said this earlier, he sleeps with a baggie of his native soil. Ladies and gentlemen, hit the button. That's so cool. Did you build that open?
I think that's Crowley.
That's good.
That is, man.
Makes you
Crowley
sound
got
good.
after it. I think it was Crowley. I'm not certain, but yeah, I was shocked one morning when that popped up. Kelly said it was going to be. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
No, it's way cool.
Great show. You got him going, Pete. It was all your fault. You know it was.
Blame it on you. I mean, you know what to do?
I love it.
You know Tommy Miller. So he came up to me the other day and he said, "You and I are the two oldest guys in Denver radio."
Wow.
So I'm going to stick Tommy in here. My birthday's coming up.
Oh, when is your birthday?
In October.
In October. So we've got, we've got about 20 days to choose from.
Well,
so
coming up on.
No wonder you like Halloween. You love all that
I love
stuff.
it. Well, you know, Halloween is the gateway drug.
Yeah,
the
got
gateway
that
drug,
right.
the gateway holiday. I'm doing
No,
drugs.
I like the gateway drug. I think that's more appropriate.
If you hit Halloween, you had it. You know, you were heading to Thanksgiving. You had Thanksgiving.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I mean,
that is a good point.
You know, and then you got to wear a costume. Did you get to wear costumes to school?
Oh yeah,
See?
we did all that. Yeah, it's great.
What was
it was great. It's costume day to me.
What was your favorite?
Oh, I wore what we used to do, we used to paint all different types of sports uniforms and make our own uniforms. So I think the Joe Namath uniform that I wore one week for Halloween one day. I think I wore it every day for a week.
Oh, I met Joe.
What's that? What was it?
I met Joe.
Oh, so you did in person? I did a live interview with him on satellite. It was the greatest. That was the greatest interview I've ever done. So you met Joe?
He's in recovery as well.
Yeah.
And
he's from Western Pennsylvania. You're stomping
man.
ground.
So
absolutely.
Everybody told stories about Joe, and the other one was Vito Babe Pirelli.
Oh yeah.
And Babe Pirelli, as they say, taught Joe to play pro.
Yep.
And when we lost Babe, I emceed his funeral.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah,
You did.
yeah.
So Vito was his first name.
Yeah,
huh?
Vito.
Vito.
Too quick.
Oh man.
Too quick.
Legend.
Oh, I mean, half tough, Italian kid, Pittsburgh, and he went to University of Kentucky, and they won the Sugar Bowl.
That's right.
Under Bear Bryant.
That's right.
And they
haven't been to a bowl game since.
And he was the Sugar Babe.
Yes.
And
yes,
I knew him. I knew who he was. He was an idol for all of us. I'm in the business then, and he had come to be the quarterback coach of the Broncos.
Right.
And I was in the Continental Denver, and he walked in, and I walked over and I said, "Please, like I'm sure this happens to you all the time." I said, "I just wanted to shake your hand because of what it was like in Pittsburgh."
Oh, that is awesome.
He turns out to be a listener.
Really?
Indeed, and we would go to lunch and dinner. He has he had many great stories. He gets drafted by the Green Bay Packers, right out of Kentucky, and he goes to the training table, and he said he's looking down the table, and he said, Peter, he said, there's a guy down there eating with both hands. and you know who it was? You know
Who was it? Who was it?
Dick the Bruiser.
Oh man, that
the
is
wrestler.
awesome.
Remember the Bruiser
the
played
wrestler.
the wrestler played for Green Bay.
Yeah, he did. That's right.
And he's looking down his rookie year, and he said, "This guy's eating with two." Dick the Bruiser.
That is beautiful.
He had the most.
I've never heard that. Oh, that's a good one, Pete.
Yeah, no, he was. And Vito was. Yeah, he was. He had just so many wonderful stories.
Oh man! So you get to meet one of your heroes, and then you end up going to lunch with them all the time.
Oh, all the time. He'd come do the radio show, and
that is so cool.
Great storyteller, you know. And I met Namath at a recovery thing, and
did you?
Yeah, we talked. My mother loved Joe Namath.
Oh, everybody loved Joe, man. That dude, how can you not love him?
Swagger.
I mean, he's so likable. I mean, it's just, and his whole delivery.
He still had the swagger.
Yes.
You know, he swaggered.
Yes.
He was like, he was the man.
About 10 years ago, one of my sons, he was like, you always talk about Joe Namath. I'm like, man, that dude was so cool. And he was a little before my time, even though I remember the end when he went to the Rams and everything. Yeah. But I said, you got to understand, when you turn on the TV, man, there's Joe Willie on these commercials. Yep. And you're like, I want to be like him. Oh, yeah. So I pulled up on YouTube all the shaving commercials and all the stuff. And he's like, everything. Man, that guy was cool, man.
He wore pantyhose. Remember that?
Yes, absolutely.
But
absolutely.
I was in where he spoke about his childhood and growing up, and and he wasn't he wasn't going to go to college.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
And his family took a vote.
Wow.
And they said Joey's going, and
wow,
it was Bear Bryant.
Oh man.
And he said when he got there, because I did an interview with Bear Bryant, not a meeting, but a phone interview with Bear Bryant, and I mentioned it to him. He said, "Did you understand him?" And he told me, he said he played football for 2 years for Bear Bryant, the first 2 years, and didn't understand a word he was saying. No, boy over there had that pork pie on, And,
yes.
God, but Joe Willie Namath, man, he was.
Oh gosh, real quickly, when I interviewed him, it was via satellite, and I was like, "Can you tell me the story of when you first walked into the Broncos locker room at the old Mile High Stadium?" And Joe says, "Oh yeah, man. Well, we walked in there, and it was in the South Stands. You remember the South Stands at Old Mile High, of course. And that was where the visitors. Well, both locker rooms were there. He said I walked into the visiting locker room, and the floor was dirt.
Yeah,
it was dirt. And I'm thinking to myself." I'm playing professional football, and I'm going to be dressing on dirt. It was so awesome.
They're that great story of the cop that sees him at like 5 o'clock in the morning with two women. They're drunk, or they're coming out of his penthouse, and Joe and the guy said, "He's beat." He said, "I'm going to go bet against him." Wrong. Joe gets him. Joe won. But the cop told the story.
That's funny.
He sees,
great.
5 a.m. There's Joe and two showgirls or whatever coming out of Joe's pen, coming out of his place. He said, "The guy can't win today," And he did.
And he did.
Yeah.
Man, that dude was awesome. All right,
go get him.
Thank you. This portion of the news sponsored by Pastor Camp Heating and Air Conditioning at 303-777-1234 to learn more about special savings opportunities on Lennox equipment. Our top story
is a significant change. This war was blocked for 2 years. President Biden, who preceded him, was unable to find a way to stop it. President Trump found that way by being tough on both sides. And you'll take a victory lap for sure over the next few days, but it's deserved. There's
Whoa, that's MSNBC, Messy NBC. DJT says Iran can be part of the peace negotiations underway in the Middle East. 47 gave a phone interview to Fox News on Wednesday night.
Well, I develop relationships with people, and sometimes those relationships lead to great things. And in the case of many of the Arab nations, the wealthiest nations in the world, if you look, although with what we've done in the United States, I think we top everybody by a lot.
The president says Iran is going to be part of the whole peace situation. Democrat John Fetterman from Pennsylvania. He's not from Western Pennsylvania. It's not Joe Namath, but we'll take Fetterman this morning.
Well, what's also very important, too, all of the Arab nations around, whether it's Egypt and Turkey and Qatar as well, have really pushed Hamas, saying this is going to be the best deal you're ever going to get, and this awful war needs to end. So I'm actually optimistic that we have a chance for enduring peace. Another part of it is what Israel has accomplished through this entire war. They have destroyed Hamas, they have destroyed Hezbollah, and also they stopped Iran for acquiring a nuclear weapon, and I fully supported that. Now Syria now is free. Now think what's accomplished here, so that's why we could have true peace in the region now.
Yeah, pretty amazing. By the way, the Nobel Peace Prize will be announced tomorrow, and I'm sure they won't even consider DJT. 47 set to hold a cabinet meeting today with all this happening, and he's going to welcome the president of Finland to the White House. That should be fun. The partial government showdown is now 9 days in. Last hour, Joe Kernan on CNBC has Hakeem Jeffries on, and Kernan just breaks it down perfectly. Forget about Jeffries in this one.
There was an election, and the Republicans were put in a position where they were able to pass the big, beautiful bill, or you call it the big, ugly bill, to then say, we don't like any of that, so we're going to shut down the government until you take back all the things that you duly passed through legislation. If Republicans had tried to do that to the Inflation Reduction Act or the any of the acts that Biden and that administration have passed, if they said we're going to shut down the government because we don't like any of those things you did, we're going to not pay our military, we're going to, not allow the government to reopen until you do what we want. After an election where the American people put Democrats in power, you'd be going crazy. You'd be going crazy about using a shutdown of the government with a continuing resolution.
Yep, no doubt. And because of that, all this shutdown, once again, DIA and other airports across the country experiencing delays. A measure that would have halted U.S. military strikes on alleged drug boats has been shot down by Senate Republicans. The Democrat resolution was voted down along party lines on Wednesday. The measure would have stopped the U.S. military from attacking boats that the 47th administration says were smuggling drugs from Venezuela. All right, Thursday night football. Tonight, Eagles try to bounce back after their loss to the Broncos. They take on the Giants, and the Broncos are in London because nothing says American football like playing an American football game in a soccer stadium in London, preparing for the Jets, Broadway Joe's old team, former team. Day 2 of preparation, and they're not very good. So they'll have their preparation on the field today for the second day this week. The Blue Jays advance to the ALCS following a 5-2 victory over the Yankees. The Tigers forced a Game 5 with a 9-3 win over the Mariners, and the Cubs 4-3 victory over the Brewers. The Phillies 8-2 over the Dodgers. 47 in North Glen, 48 in Centennial, 51 in Denver. Jeff and Billy Show continues with Pete at the helm. Blake Olson, News Talk 710 KNUS.
Your KNUS forecast for this Thursday across the Denver metro area calls for beautiful fall weather conditions. If one was to draw up a gorgeous fall day, it would be much like this Thursday, as we'll see highs in the lower to maybe a mid-80. Lots of sunshine, dry conditions, mid-50s tonight. Increased cloud cover Friday and Saturday, mid and upper 70s for highs, maybe a shower, lows mid-50s. Weather is a service of L&L Heating and Air Conditioning. For quick, trustworthy, and dependable service, call L&L Heating and Air Conditioning at 720-851-1691. Visit them online at bestdenverhvac.com. That's bestdenverhvac.com. You'll be comfortable with L&L. I'm meteorologist Mark Huer in the 710 KNUS Weather Center.
Morning again, everybody. Peter Boyle's on the air everywhere. Jeff and Bill are back next week. Good old 710 KNUS. KNUS Weather Center weather, 82 the high, and 75 tomorrow, Saturday 78, and on Sunday 74 degrees. So I'm here today, tomorrow, and Saturday. A number of different issues, but we talked earlier about peace in the Middle East, and it's just a stop. Their history is not going to allow that to be the final say. So it's kind of to the sidelines for a while. Everybody licks their wounds, goes back after it again. So we can talk about that if you wish. We're also talking about this notion of conversion therapy and the Supreme Court arguments and the things that go with it. We have had people wait. It's going to get in. Hey.
Well, I remember this is 42 years ago, and my brother Jim and his wife were expecting a child, and I don't know why my dad does this, but he say, "Well, how would you feel if it turned out the child was gay?"
I don't think he said. I don't believe he said gay, but go ahead.
Well, he did.
Oh, did he?
But yeah. Anyway, well, I remember. We nobody usually said. Well, anyway, that this is how I recall it. But anyway, and so my brother replies, I don't care. I just love him.
Yeah.
So, people, why? Who cares?
There you go.
What difference does it make?
Thank you.
They're children. They need to express themselves.
Ma'am,
they shouldn't be shamed.
Dan, this is from the religious aspects of our world, whether it's Christianity or it's conservative Judaism or it's conservative Islam. That's where this comes from, because as you know, that's a sin. And I listened to it yesterday here in this room. So you can't deal with it because it's a sin.
God.
And so many people get
they don't choose to be gay, just like I've heard you say millions of times. They don't choose. That's what they're born with. It's their hormones.
And
it's not a selection.
Things are better, but things are bad enough. And so imagine taking a 12 or 13-year-old boy or girl.
Oh, my God.
And putting them in the hands of these people. Now, they can all be sunshine and unicorns when they're on talk radio shows and being called the battling for American parental rights. But when you read what happens in conversion therapy, it is.
They should be in prison for doing it.
Yeah,
oh my gosh.
I have no idea what this woman does in conversion therapy, but I can tell you what I've been reading for 4 nights about conversion therapy, and
Well, I don't know about this Supreme Court. They better, this is so. Freedom. That's what this country is based on.
Well, let's watch.
Yes, watch, because that's so repulsive.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right.
Bye.
Be safe. Goodbye. All right. A line is open. This is Francis in Golden. Francis, thank you for calling the radio show. Good morning.
Hey, Peter.
Bubba?
Hey, I have a hard time figuring out the Alliance Defending Freedom's position on this being some form of speech.
Me too.
Because it doesn't seem to me at all. And I don't look. I have not read the law. I haven't. I'm not all boned up on conversion therapy. But it seems to me nobody is stopping this therapist from standing on the street corner and offering to, convert people from homosexuality, just not as a therapist. She can speak about it all she wants.
Well,
it's a matter of what treatment she can perform.
And
it's the same thing. She could go write a blog about it.
Sure.
Nobody's giving her prior restraint on this.
But know
she
this,
can do this.
It is pseudoscience. And physicians and mental health care providers, they're appalled at conversion therapy for minors. And if you look around the world or Western Europe, or I think it's 19 states in this union that have outlawed it, and the efforts to change behavior or gender expression, and the struggle that the court was having, and even the court can't quite ascertain what conversion therapy is. Is it speech or is it conduct? And so they decided to make it speech, because if you could look at the conduct of it, people would be appalled. And so they're smart lawyers, they decided to call it speech. But
it's just so clearly not. It
no, of
bothers
course
me
not.
because there's no people. If this lady was never prohibited from doing anything either. This is the other thing that kind of bothers me. She was supposedly been investigated, but I don't. So what? I mean, if she's a social worker or a therapist of some sort, and she's seeing clients as a professional,
but she puts
that isn't speech. That isn't a speech relationship.
But if you look when she is explained, she is always called a Christian. That's first. And I Christianity, fine with me, but when you use your Christian beliefs, those kind of things about homosexuality, like I experienced that yesterday with Jeff here on 710 when I asked him about his choice day, and he chose not to answer the question. Fine. But it really does get back to the basic 101s. When was your choice day? Francis, did you have one?
No, of course not. It's silly. It's silly to think that this has anything to do with choice. I mean, it just doesn't.
No, it does.
It occurs in nature, not just among humans, among other species. This is not brain surgery.
But you're missing the point. They say it is a choice because that is the only way that homosexuality can exist, is that Satan or whatever it is or whatever the change is, and they can take that choice and they can bring it back to living the straight life. Now, I didn't have a choice. So it has to work both ways. If it would make a gay guy straight, obviously,
go the other direction.
Could they take you?
Why not?
Could they take you and make you gay? No.
Of course, the logic of it. I know it doesn't make any sense whatsoever. It's not.
No, it does.
Look,
that's just it. It does. To that mindset and that set of beliefs, it makes 1,000%. I mean, I've listened to it on talk radio. I mean, it's been, gag a maggot time. Come on. I mean, you can say that this woman's free speech is challenged, but do you know what these people do? Do you know how they treat these kids? Here, I'll give you a bunch of email here or text message. Like listening to NPR, tuned to Beck or Brown. Knock yourself out, pal. Can you have a child receive leech therapy? I don't know what that is. You're spreading misinformation.
Look, the state can control medical treatment and regulate it. That's why we don't allow snake oil salesmen
No,
anymore.
of course not.
I mean, and look, conversion therapy, the little bit that I know does sound like just the equivalent of snake oil salesmen. But the problem is...
No, but it takes the square peg of religion to fit the round hole. and it's the only way that it can be done.
The thing is, a snake oil salesman can stand on a corner and say, I have a way to cure whatever, the mange with my special elixir.
Yeah.
And they're not acting they're not treating people. And their free speech is not being abrogated. They can talk nonsense out their rear end all they want. That's free speech.
One of Tanya Tucker's great songs is a song called Lizzie and the Rain Man. And she says, step back, non-believers. I'm going to make it rain. And but when you look at the list of people, Republican and Democrat alike and liberal and conservative alike, physicians, psychiatrists, rejecting this, calling it pseudoscience.
Yeah.
And it is.
It worries me, at least in the limited amount that I've been able to read about how the Supreme Court was treating the arguments. It alarms me that the justices weren't drawing these distinctions between active treatment as a therapist versus some kook on a corner spouting things off. I mean,
but this isn't some kook on a corner.
This is a therapist. They can regulate therapists. That's the point.
Good call. There we go. All right, thank you. We go to Brandon in Denver. Hey, Brandon, you're on the radio show. Good morning.
Hello, Peter Boyles. Good to see you, sir.
Thank you.
Over here, I coming from a animal training, we can call it behaviorism, standpoint. Converting or people doing anything, any direction, to the left, to the right, to the up, to the down, you can move an animal any direction. So I think, well, no, I don't
could
think.
Could you make an animal? Could you take a male lion and make him gay?
No, I never seen that.
Me neither.
I never seen that. But with a human, there are. I mean, we can label it gay, but there are circumstances of ongoing same-sex or even temporary.
Sure, prisons.
So that there you go, sir.
Yeah.
There you go. That's Exhibit A. So it is possible.
But let me stop.
Go, sir. Yeah.
Penitentiaries. These are adult men.
That's right.
This isn't a 12-year-old kid being made to wear a pink dress. That's the joint. And I've been told by people that have done time, and they talk about it exactly like you're talking about it. And when they come out, they become straight again.
That's right. That's right.
But these are adults. These aren't kids. The therapists want their hands on kids.
Now that's interesting. Let's compare that, a 12-year-old to, let's say, a 32-year-old behind bars.
Right.
The 12-year-old, see, the mind of a 32-year-old may return to a baseline of straightness, let's say. But a 12-year-old, it gets a little. There you go. I mean, where's that mind going to go? Is there a baseline?
Where did you grow up, Brandon?
Denver, Colorado, the Mile High City.
Did you know any kids that you knew were gay growing up?
Yes.
See, I did too. There was a kid in our neighborhood. We made his life miserable.
Oh.
I mean, we did. And he was gay. And And what a horrible thing! What a horrible things that we did to that kid.
Yeah, I tell you, it was horrible. I'm in a slightly different generation, so maybe we didn't do that to the kid. But what I'll tell you is, those at 12, if we just pick 12, at 12 years old, I had a lot of friends doing a number of things because a child's mind needs to explore, et cetera, et cetera. And whatever they did, whether it started at 3 or 11 years old,
but it
becomes what they do,
What's the great,
including criminality, criminality.
No, but what's the great line? Gay for the stay is the line. You go to the joint, you need sexual relief. Gay for the stay.
Yep, that's right. That's right.
But it's a different Mongambo here. We're not talking about adult men locked away for 5 to 7, we're talking about a 10, 11-year-old boy or girl.
And you know what, Peter? That is exactly why the therapists that do that, they think they have a chance with the 12-year-old.
To do what?
Well, an adult, maybe that baseline is set, whatever we're saying the baseline is.
Your friend that was gay when you were a kid, how's he doing? Do you know?
He remained gay throughout life.
Well, of course he did, but is he did okay?
He did just fine.
There you go.
Law-abiding citizen and everything.
So
yeah,
why must he become like me and you?
Oh, people try to push things, they try to push a child, like religious, politics, all kind of things. I want you to be an artist. I want you to play on the football team. So, I think that's...
Did you play sports when you were a kid? We're running out of time.
Yes, sir.
There was always some kid that couldn't hit himself in the rear end with both hands, but his old man wanted him to be a ball player. And that kid wanted to go take piano lessons.
That's right. And in that situation, same thing applies.
Same thing. I watched
trying to convert that kid to a piano player instead of a ball player.
That's
you go. Conversion.
Take care of yourself. That's a very smart call. Thank you. All right, everybody. We got a line open. I got a whole bunch of things to read. We will do these things at 710 KNUS. I'm Peter Boyles, and they gave me the golden opportunity to come in here today, tomorrow, and our show on Saturday. Does anybody believe this stuff? Apparently a lot of talk show hosts do. 710 KNUS. Miss Tanya Tucker. Here you go. Love it. Here it is. Back non-believers. Rain won't never come. Whew. Somebody beat the drum. What a great song. I'm going to make it rain. Miss Tanya Tucker, 710 KNUS, Lizzie and the Rain Man. On a Thursday, October the 9th, 2025. I was in Sturgis, and there's a thing that's called I think it's called the Celebrity Ride. And I was doing radio up there and some television, and they came to me and they said, "You want to ride in this?" And I went, "Yeah, man, I'd love to ride in it." And I had witnessed one of the great bar fights of my life in Cheyenne, Wyoming, when Tanya Tucker was dating a cowboy named Bobby Brown. And they called him Hooter. And he was Texas tough. I mean, he really was. And I got to sit at this table, and Larry Mahan had quit cowboying, we became friends and talked about it. He couldn't quit traveling. And they used to do Wide World of Sports. He and Kurt Gowdy would do, they'd one rodeo a year. Now they do bull riding all the time and everything that goes with it. So there was a place called The Hitch up there, and it was legendary. And Larry had a band, and those of you who remember, there was a band called Ricky and the Red Streaks. And there was never a better band in the world than Ricky and the Red Streaks. And so they got me a job because I was trying to ride bulls. I got on a couple of bulls, and the late Bob Edson, who was so good to me, and David Allen, and they said, "Okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to get you a job because we want you up there with us. We'll get you a job, and you can stand on the it was on the rodeo grounds floor in Old Cheyenne, and had a headset on and a clipboard, and I would call up to Larry's producer and Kurt's producer, and I would say, this is the name of the horse, and this is the name of the cowboy, and this is the chute they're in, and same thing with bulls. And it was bucking horses, and saddle broncs and bucking horses, and rough stock. It's called rough stock and rodeo. So that night, Larry's playing with his band, and Kurt Gowdy's there. And they got, I don't know, Wide World of Sports I think it was ABC. And so there was a lead table right in front of the band. And so not Larry, but it was Bob Edson, Flash said, "Come on, you're going to sit with me, and we're sitting at this table." So in the door comes this beautiful, beautiful woman in a Greenpeace jacket. Now, mind you, remember Greenpeace? She had a Greenpeace jacket, had a whale on the back, and she was a killer. I mean, on a 1 to 10, she was a 12. And she sat down at the table and had a mouth on her like a sailor, man. I remember going, whew. And so Larry's on the stage, and Kurt Gowdy's talking about these legendary bucking horses, Midnight and 5 Minutes to Midnight and Sunfish and all these legend. And to his credit, I mean, he really knew what he was talking about. So Larry had a band. The Rock and Rodeo Review was Larry's band. And so Kurt and Larry on the stage, and Larry said, "We have a very special guest here with us tonight, and let's see if we can get her up to sing a song. Miss Tanya Tucker." Well, that who was sitting like 2 seats down from me in the Greenpeace coat, and she gets up, and she was dating Bobby Brown, and she had a song called "While You're Out There Riding Rainbows." And it was about Bobby, who rode, as they say, looking for an 8 And when she stood up, somebody became familiar. The best way I can describe it. And Hooter saw it. And the guy had done what he had done. And Hooter was tough. And there goes the first punch. And it was one of those, he hits into a guy, and it looked like a movie fight where one guy falls on another table and that table gets up and starts swinging. I don't bet there was, no exaggeration, 10, 12 people in that fight. And somebody yelled, "Hey, Kurt," and I remember this distinctly, "Hey, Kurt, turn the cameras around, show them Cheyenne." I mean, because they're going at it. So time passes, and Tanya Tucker's appearing at the Buffalo Chip. And so she had a Road King, and they're kind of, do you want to ride? So I was on the back, 20 bikes, because they had all the big name people in the front. And I said, I'm going to run the risk. And I walked up, and she was all in white leather, and she had a white Road King. It was a nice bike. And I said, "Miss Tucker?" And she said, "Yes." And I said, "I don't want to be out of line, but do you remember a bar fight?" And she looked at me. She said, "Cheyenne, Wyoming." And I said, "Yes, ma'am." And she said, "One of the greatest bar fights I've ever seen in my life." And it ended up, Bobby had ended up in not such the best place, but he's doing great now. But that was my Tanya Tucker story. And then later all the Glenn Campbell stories came out. But she could sing. And she's like a little girl. I mean, she was, 14, 13 years old. She tore him apart. So I got drawn off into that. And she was doing Lizzie and the Rain Man. This is Caroline in Denver. You're on the radio show. Good morning, and thank you.
Good morning, Peter. This has been such a great show. You guys have brought up a lot of really interesting points. I haven't heard the whole thing, though. So I don't know if some of the conversion stuff you guys were talking about was relevant to the ballot issue for November 4th 2C. If not, I'd just like to mention that.
Please.
2C is talking about rebuilding the West Side Health Center, which would possibly be a good thing, but they want to include like this mental health facility for kids. And I'm a little opposed because the main objection is the footprint it would make upon the existing neighborhood. But my opposition is more the risk of the facility imposing manipulation upon the minds and hearts of these kids. And I don't know.
Yeah,
I'd really have to look more into that.
The one argument that we're having this morning, or one discussion, doesn't balance out the other one. In other words, it seems to me that everybody in Hollywood has a trans kid. I mean, have you noticed that? And I mean, every big star, every producer, every somebody has a trans kid. And I said, if we went to Moline, Illinois, do you think we'd find everybody with a trans kid?
Well, so many of these agendas actually attach with fashion. Even, unfortunately, the Gaza-Palestine thing, you see a lot of people wearing the scarves. It's like, you're trans kid, your scarf.
No, the scarf means something.
Back to 2C real quick,
I actually,
if I could.
If I may, though, to take you back on scarves. Scarves in the Middle East, I mean, men, women, everybody has a scarf. And there are scarves in Gaza or in Palestine that are black and white checkered. And they're the resistance. They mean, they mean,
absolutely.
They have political meaning, not sexual meaning.
No, for sure. But I just think that a lot of the protesters, they just put on their scarf and they go rah rah, and they don't really understand all the depth of the issue. As that stands, that's another show when you bring on the journalists, right? The Palestinian
but you know what? We got
journalists.
Palestinians on tomorrow.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, I don't.
We'll be listening.
Yeah, well, you're kind. Most people that I know that talk about this have no idea. They don't know the history. They don't know the great sadness. They don't know anything. They simply, once again, they believe God's a real estate agent. And it's not true. It's not so. I mean, things...
It's not. And, you know, I'm sorry.
You say, go ahead.
I knew a guy who went through conversion therapy. He was from Tennessee. And, like, he had a girlfriend in high school. You know, they were beautiful and everything. And down in Tennessee, it was like football and NASCAR and everything.
Sure.
But the conversion therapy really harmed him in a way that was not intended. It made him actually dig his heels in the darkest side of gay light. And he was found, you know, doing the bathhouse life, exposing himself to all kinds of drugs and diseases. So it kind of has an opposite effect, I think. And as Pink Floyd says, leave those kids alone.
Well,
you know,
you remember, I don't know how much of you remember Ted Haggard. And Ted Haggard was one of, you talk about getting in trouble, but there was a male prostitute that came to me and said, I'm having, and the reason that he could see it, and he was in the gym, he had a hell of a put together self. And he looked up on television, and on Fox News, of all places, was Ted Haggard. And Ted Haggard was, he told George W. Bush about gay issues. And he's gay. They know him. And he comes up and he buys sex from my friend, and they exposed him. It was the same time with Pat Sullivan, the same time that all this stuff was going on. Ted Haggard was involved in it. And yet he was passing himself off as this, I don't want to, the horrible things that he said. And yet he's slipping up to Denver to have sex with a man. And by the way, do a lot of meth. And
yeah, and not to say that gay life is a drug-addled situation necessarily, but there is a dark underbelly of all kinds of culture.
Yeah, sure.
For sure. I did love your bar fight story, by the way. It really gave me a giggle.
I mean, I wasn't in on it, but they were, and it was cowboys. And it was Cheyenne.
That's hilarious, really.
How many times I've been to Cheyenne and seen them, and you know, it was part of. It's part of that's part of being who those guys were.
Well, and your Greenpeace lady that
Tanya
talked
Tucker.
like a sailor.
Oh, Tanya Tucker.
She probably was, because they were on boats, you know, those Greenpeace
No,
boats.
she wasn't on Greenpeace. She just wore the jacket. She was Tanya Tucker. Oh. She was like, I don't know. You know, she's up out of Texas, but it didn't work. Thank you. All right, what we are going to do is Tommy Miller is going to roll in here in a little bit. And we're the two oldest guys in Denver radio, and I'm a big fan of Tommy's. It's a Thursday, October the 9th, creeping up on Halloween. We got tomorrow, we got Saturday. Adam, hit the button. And good morning again, everyone. It is 710 KNUS Denver's Talk Station on a Thursday morning, October the 9th, 2025. 710 KNUS. Thanks for being here. I'm here today. Tomorrow morning we'll start off again, and then on the Saturday show. So it goes 82 for the high today, 75 Friday, and 78 on Saturday. I want to do this. It's been a pretty intense morning, and it's going to get intense again tomorrow. But in this segment, first of all, sitting in the studio is a true friend, and I don't know how many years we worked together, Tommy Muller, and we're going to bring Blake into this on the other side. How many years you been in the business?
Since 1962.
Yeah. Wait a minute, let me get this straight. Kennedy's alive.
Yeah.
and you're in the business.
Yeah.
And so where were you when you got hired?
Actually, I started in the business in college. Then I was hired in Lansing, Michigan. But
what were the call letters?
Well, first of all was WMRT, and
you never forget.
No, you don't. And they changed that to Whittle, WITL.
Whittle.
It's a little.
What programming genius came up with Whittle?
It's a Whittle station.
Oh, I get it.
And then I was at WILS, which was a rocker.
What shift did you do?
I started
at Whittle.
At Whittle?
Yeah.
It was an AM/FM combo.
Okay.
And nobody listened to FM back then.
No.
And I was on the FM because the AM was a daytimer. So I was at the FM at night.
How long? I mean, you could do forever back then.
Well, you could.
And we did.
Yeah, and I really don't remember how long I was.
Was it greater than 4 hours?
Probably about 4.
Okay.
Yeah,
right.
Probably like 6 to 10 at night.
That's not a bad shift.
Yeah, or it may have been sundown to whatever.
All right, here's our music. Now, here's what we're going to do here.
Okay.
Tom's going to stay, and, of course, Blake will join us. And what's it like? A couple old guys talking about radio, and we'll bring Blake Olson into it. And I'm back tomorrow morning. Hang on, everybody.